Now, Somerset Football Association held its annual County Awards evening on Thursday the 11th of July at Somerset County Cricket Ground in Taunton. The evening was an opportunity for Somerset FA to recognise and reward outstanding contribution and achievement to local football from schools, clubs and volunteers within the Somerset area over the last year. With over 150 people in attendance, awards were presented within 25 different categories on the evening. 8 of the categories were sponsored by McDonald's through the FA's Community Awards scheme. Selected awards were also sponsored by Ivan and Rendell and Co. Accountants, SASP and Bridgewater College. The last award of the evening was for the outstanding contribution to community football, and this was picked up by the outstanding Claire Burton from Purnell Sports, Midsomer North Youth League and Mini League. Claire lives and breathes football and is an integral figure in our local footballing community, which is the reason why I was so pleased to catch up with Claire on Monday. And I started our conversation by asking her to explain more about her role at Purnell Sports.
I am Club Secretary and Club Child Welfare Officer for Purnell's. Then I'm also Child Welfare Officer for the Midsomer Norton Youth Football League.
So, having chatted with some of our local sort of football clubs over the years, I know the club secretaries normally end up dealing with player registrations and all of the red tape and bureaucracy that goes with administering your club. So that's part of what you do for.
It's all the registrations just for the youth setup and the mini soccer setup.
And how old does the mini soccer setup and the youth setup go up to? What sort of age group?
It starts at under 7, which is year 1 at primary school, and then it ends at under 16s this year as our highest age group.
So how long have you been involved with Purnell Sports?
2008, when we moved from Porton Rovers to Purnell's and set ourselves up. So I've been secretary since then.
And you also mentioned that you're involved with the Midsomer Norton Youth League.
Yes.
What is the Midsomer Norton Youth League?
It's the league basically for all the local clubs in the area, for all their matches, and you have to have a league obviously to set up.
So that would be youth teams then from Purnell's.
Yeah.
And what other clubs? I mean, I know Chilcompton, I think, has got quite a well-developed youth league.
Westfield, just for the local ones, you've got Westfield, Midsomer Norton, Radstock, Timsbury, High Littleton. The list is endless, to be honest. There's so many different clubs. And that's so that youth football in this area, those sides they come together and they play in a competitive league. Yes.
Is that the way it's structured?
Mini soccer's not competitive, but under 11s upwards in youth it becomes a competitive.
But below under 11, although what is the difference between competitive and non-competitive? Because at the end of the day, the kids are still playing a game, and I suppose there'll still be a winner and a loser at the end of it.
Yeah, but with the mini soccer, it's more very friendly. You can sort of mix your players around into different teams, whereas when you get to youth, you have a fixed team. That team plays. Obviously, you can bring your subs in and things, but...
Because I know there's quite a lot of publicity about issues to do with youth soccer, one of them being the dimensions of the pitch. But at the younger level... we've
got 7-a-side, then it goes to 9v9, and then 11-a-side.
And what are the age cut-offs for 7-a-side and 9v9?
7v7 is under 7s through to under 10s. And then this year, under 11s and 12s will be 9v9, and then the higher age groups will be 11-a-side.
Now, there's one very important distinction that we haven't covered yet, because when we're talking about youth soccer, we're actually talking about soccer for both boys and girls, aren't we?
That's right, yeah.
So what's the girls' soccer set up at Purnell's?
Well, we have 2 fully registered teams at the moment, under 13s next year and under 15s. They play in the Somerset Girls League. Very good teams. The younger age group finished second in the Somerset Girls League last year and the year before. And this year we've actually started an under 10s girls section, which started last Saturday. So
there are 3 different age grade levels for young girls to come and play. And we talked before about the likes of Chilcompton and Radstock. Where are the girls? Where are the opposition for the Purnell's girls coming from?
But we tend, at the moment, being in the Somerset Girls League, there's not very many local teams. You end up playing things like Bishop's Lydiard, Minehead. So there is a very big travelling problem But then you've got Frome, and they play in the Wiltshire League. So you've got Frome and Westbury, Bath as well. So there is a few, but not very many in our...
So that shows that's a real commitment then for those mums and dads that are having to get their kids all over the former Avon area. I'm assuming then that the coaching for the girls' football, in essence, is exactly the same as it is for the men's. What type of coaches do you have at Purnell's?
We've got the older age group. Nick, he was a player. He's the senior section secretary for last year. I think he's now this year's vice chairman. Sorry. He does the girls, and then we've got another chap who does the under 13s. So it's just dads basically that have qualified, got their level 1 qualifications and all their child welfare checks.
Because that's another aspect of your job, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yes.
And am I right in thinking that recently the club has actually managed to get hold of its first female coach?
We have, but at the moment she's on maternity, so whether she comes back to us, I don't know.
But she might have some competition from one of the younger members of the...
Yes, our under 12 player who wanted to do some training with the girls, set up a new section off her own back, and she did that last Saturday with 13 new players come along.
And those players were drawn from the local primary schools?
Most of them were from Taunton. Obviously we have a very big link with Taunton Junior School and the infants. I'm sure there's other schools that will come along, through friends and other coaches that are involved with the other primary schools. So
if the broadcast area of Somer Valley FM, for those people listening to this on FM, they'll be coming from places like Radstock, obviously Taunton, which you mentioned, but Midsomer, Norton, Peasdown, St John, all of those areas would be relevant to coming to Purnell's to get involved.
Yes, the girls, definitely.
Perhaps the most important question I can ask you is for those people who are listening and are interested in getting involved, and from just as a recap, what you've talked about is obviously there is youth football for both girls and boys, but actually it's not just about playing in a league, and there's obviously playing for the fun of playing, playing for the fun of the game, being coached, and potentially there may be some people, young and old, out there who are listening to this who are interested in doing a bit of coaching themselves.
Yeah, sure, we're always looking for volunteer helpers. That's the thing, it is all voluntary. We're just desperate at times for new faces and new input.
So how can volunteers get involved with the club?
If they contact me, if they are really serious on coming, we do a recruitment form, which is very informal. Just fill in, some basic questions about your experience and references, and then we'll just have a little chat, answer questions, do your CRB checks.
And how can people get hold of you?
Yeah, 07518 034 988. You can email me as well on purnellsclaire@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible with all the information.
Now, you mentioned there that obviously you're keen on finding volunteers, but of course in this day and age, resources are very important as well. Am I right in thinking that recently you've come into you've been awarded something?
We've just had a contribution as well from the parish council, from Councillor John Ball, which has actually come at a really good time, obviously with this new girls section that we've started for the under 10s. That's given us money then to put towards, kit, equipment, get them up and running ready for September.
And I imagine, like most football teams, it's possible to sponsor the shirts and that sort of stuff. Yeah,
that's what we do tend to do with the sponsorship of kit, is, whether it's a parent, grandparent, just a family friend, they sponsor the team. We have their name on the shirt at the front and the logo.
So, looking ahead to the future, then obviously the club is in a strong position at the moment. It clearly, like any organisation, needs to continue to recruit volunteers and identify resources. But it sounds quite exciting, the developments you're making with women's football in particular. You've talked about increasing the number of age grade teams from 2 to 3. Mm-hmm. Do you think Purnell's, as a longer term ambition, would like to field a senior women's side? We did try that back before Christmas, but unfortunately, we trained on a Friday evening, which isn't always the best time to train. But, it's something we have thought about. We've given it a go, and whether we try again next year, we'd hope to be able to get a ladies' team up and running. Well, Claire, thank you very much for your time today,
you.
and we look forward to sort of keeping in touch with you and hearing about all the developments at the club.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.